Hi, this is Gwen Peterson. I'm a certified health coach with Take Shape for Life, and I wanted to make a video called a pre-start video. So when people order our program, normally as a health coach, we try to get on the phone with them the day or two before they're going to start on plan, so we can kind of give them the ins and outs of what they're going to do starting the morning that they start the program. But as sometimes people order and they get back from vacation and start the very next morning or things like that, I just wanted to make a video to have as a resource to send my clients if we can't connect until the day they start or maybe the next day after that. So the first thing that I tell my clients is, when you wake up, the first rule of the program is you want to eat your first fueling within 30 minutes of waking up. Because when you wake up, your blood sugar is low. So the sooner that we can get that blood sugar up, the faster your metabolism starts working, and the sooner your body starts burning fat. Now, if you had your coach order you a favorites kit, which a lot of the coaches do, everything in that box is what we call a fueling. They all are very close in protein, around 11 to 14 grams of protein, normally between 11 and 14 grams of carbs, and between 2 and 3 grams of fat. So they're all blueprinted identically. So unless you got snacks like the popcorn or the chips, those are an optional snack for the day. But everything else in your kit, unless it was a Flavors of Home, which is a pre-made lean and green, which most clients don't get on their first order anyway, everything that came in your box is considered a fueling, and you could have 5 shakes a day, 5 brownies a day, 5 cookie bakes. It doesn't matter because they're all blueprinted the same way. So now once you've had your first fueling for the day, within hopefully 20, 30 minutes of waking up, if it goes to an hour, that happens. Sometimes mornings get away from us, but just know the sooner you can get going, the faster your metabolism starts firing back up again. So then at that point, you're just going to stagger your fuelings every 2.5 to 3 hours. So basically there are days for me, my schedule is I get up at 7 and I eat something at 7:30, then 10:30, then 12:30, and notice there's only a 2-hour gap right there. It's okay. You just don't want to go longer than 3 hours in between eating, because at that 3-hour mark is when your blood sugar starts to drop and your brain is physiologically telling you, go get sugar. So even me, being in maintenance, I still, if I go longer than 3 hours without eating, at that 3-hour mark, I'm like, those goldfish crackers in my pantry look really good. And they aren't good. It's just that my brain's telling me to go get something with carbohydrates in it. So do the best you can to stay on that 2.5 to 3 hour window. Just know, let's say like I did in my second week, I ended up having a day that I forgot to put bars in my car. And so now all of a sudden I was supposed to have eaten and it was 2 hours later. So I hadn't eaten in 5 hours. You can do one of two things. You can go eat a bar right at the 5-hour mark and then eat again when it's time to eat, or you can eat both and kind of readjust your schedule. But you just want to know you are always going to want your 5 fuelings a day and your 1 lean and green. So catch up on those fuelings if you get behind. So just stagger your day every 2.5 to 3 hours. Then on top of that, you will want to look at the Lean and Green book. And I should have grabbed this first, so I'm just going to grab it right here. Okay, so page 18 of the quick start guide that you would have gotten in your box. Let me show you the front of it just so that we know that you and I are looking at the exact same thing. Let me see. Let me get to the front page. Okay, this is what it most likely looks like, the Optavia guide. Okay, so on page 18, and sorry, this is not a normal professional video. I'm just whipping out through this information. Page 18, you're going to notice up at the top is the leanest section, which is the 7-ounce category. So basically on your lean and green, rule number 1, and I see people make this mistake constantly, weigh your meat after it's been cooked every single time, verbatim. Because if you stop weighing it, you will underestimate, and now you'll be under protein and under calories for the day. So make sure if you're choosing the 7-ounce category, the 6-ounce category, or the 5-ounce category, you are weighing it after it's been cooked. Normally, as a rule of thumb, if you're looking at, let's say, something in the 5-ounce section cooked, if you start out with about 7 ounces raw, it'll probably cook down about 2 ounces, just to let you know. So if you're at a restaurant, side note, chances are they're not going to give you enough protein. So I just kind of tell my clients, if you're out to eat, always double the protein, because if you randomly end up eating a little too much protein, it's not going to hurt you. But if you under eat protein on the day, now you're low in calories and low in protein. So I'd rather you over the protein than under the protein. Then on the vegetables, you will see, so the lean is on page 18, and then the vegetables are on, I know my old book better than my new book. The vegetables are further up. Anyway, on the vegetables, what you want to know is you want to make sure that you're doing 3 servings, not 1. Most people make that mistake. Oh, on the next page, page 19, is the vegetables. I'm telling you, I know my old book better than my new book. So just make sure that you're doing 3 servings. People ask me if it's pre-cooked, after-cooked, all of that. Just know the vegetable is the least concern of being 100% accurate, because we have all low glycemic vegetables. So if you end up eating a little over or a little under, it's not going to be that big of a deal because you're in that lower glycemic category anyway. So on the lean, weigh it after it's cooked. Green, before, after, just do your best to try to fit in the category of what it's saying. Now, the other piece of the lean and green that is always missed is, if you're in that 7-ounce category, do you see that you get 2 healthy fat servings? And then if you're in the 6-ounce category, it's 1. And if you're in the 5-ounce category, it's 0. Now, this is detrimental to your progress, because if you're eating up in that 7 or 6-ounce category and you're not staying focused on your healthy fat, you are going to be severely under calories for the day and under fat. So the way I explain it to people is, if you're doing our program, just like if you were making a loaf of banana bread and you measured every single thing out perfectly, but then you just eyeballed the oil in that loaf of banana bread, mix it up and throw it in the oven for 35 minutes. At the end of 35 minutes, you don't know if you're going to have a runny mess or if you're going to end up with a hockey puck, because that oil is detrimental to the ratios of what you're trying to make. Our program is the same way. It's built on very specific scientific ratios. And if you are just eyeballing the oil or the healthy fats, we can't guarantee what your outcome is going to be. But we know if you do it the way it's written, because of the science of our bodies, we're going to be able to help you get good results. So just know that if you're questioning the healthy fats, either in the welcome email that hopefully your coach sent you, it's in there. There should be a link to the condiment guide, which has a whole bunch of healthy fats listed, or the vegetarian guide that has a bunch of cheeses listed for if you want to use cheese as your lean option. If you didn't receive that welcome email, or you lost it, just Google MetaFast condiment guide or MetaFast vegetarian guide. And I always tell my clients, print that out and put it with the book, because now you won't even question what that healthy fat category looks like, because there's so many listed through the list of salad dressings and avocado and oils and things like that. So lean, green, healthy fat. So keep that dialed in. Ask your coach if you have questions, because that's going to be one of the big keys to your program. Then you can have the lean and green at lunch or dinner. It doesn't matter. You can even split it in half and do half at lunch and half at dinner. As a reminder, if you split it in half, let's say you normally do 5 of our meals, 1 lean and green, and the 1 lean and green is at dinner. And now you end up deciding to go out to eat for lunch or something, and you end up having it at lunch, half at lunch and half at dinner. Now, the fueling you would have eaten at noon, now you don't eat because you're eating half of your lean and green. So by the end of the day, you're now only at 4 fuelings and 1 lean and green split in half. See, you're short. You still need to squeeze that 5th fueling in that you would have had at lunch somewhere else throughout the day. It doesn't matter if you eat 2 bars at the same time, or, just kind of stagger them. Just make sure you're not under the 5 fuelings if you have 1 lean and green split in half. So now to the last piece of the fueling part. So most people will do, let's say, their lean and green at 6 o'clock at night for dinner, and their last fueling is at 9 o'clock at night. Per nutrition support suggestion, after 9 o'clock at night is when your body starts releasing melatonin to slow you down to go to sleep, which is great, but it also slows down your blood sugar. So basically, the last rule of your last fueling is you need to eat it within 2 hours of going to sleep. So if you're eating your last fueling at 9 o'clock at night and you're still awake at 11 o'clock at night, you need to eat again. So basically, because we don't want you eating at 9 o'clock and going to bed at 11:30, and now your blood sugars probably are already starting to decline, and now all night long your body is fighting that blood sugar low instead of resetting all your systems while you sleep. So I just kind of tell people, you know what, if you are climbing in bed at 10:45 and you know you're not going to be asleep within 15 minutes, go have a bar at 10:45 at night or a cookie bake or whatever, so that your blood sugar is for sure stabilized going into sleep. So my firefighters and police officers, what they do, and I learned this on one of the doctor's calls. So by the way, if you're not listening to those, talk to your coach about downloading the podcast so you can learn where I learned a lot of this stuff. Basically, my firemen, they're eating their last fueling at 9 o'clock at night, and then they're eating at 11 o'clock at night, and then 1 a.m., and then 3 a.m., and then 5 a.m. So you can either just use another fueling every 2 hours, or you can do half of a lean option. And this is where nutrition support would say, starting at 11 o'clock at night, they are interchangeable, a fueling or half of a lean and green. And so basically, the very easy go-tos are 2 low-fat mozzarella cheese sticks are half of a lean, or 3/4 of a cup of low-fat cottage cheese is half of a lean. So just know you cannot substitute that during the day, but starting after that 9 o'clock fueling, so 11 o'clock, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., you can interchange whether you use a fueling or half of a lean. So that's kind of that late night scenario of what to do if you're up 2 hours after your last fueling. You just keep fueling. Now, water intake. Basically, what you want to know is we want you drinking at least half of your weight in water. I normally try to tell my clients shoot for 80 ounces to 100 ounces a day, because the more water you drink, the more you're going to be flushing out the weight you're losing. In week 1, your electrolytes are going to be all over the place as we are balancing out those blood sugars. So what I highly suggest is drinking 2 Propel packets a day. The Propel is these little packets you can get in the grocery store over by the Crystal Light. There's nothing else like a Propel, or Powerade Zero comes in a squeezy, so you can use Powerade Zero or a Propel. They have electrolytes in them, and they are only 1 carbohydrate. So you can drink those in your water in week 1. My personal opinion is drink 2 Propel a day in week 1 in your water. And then after that, after week 1, just dial it down to 1 a day, but it never hurts to be supporting your electrolyte system. So basically that's all it is. In a nutshell, if you think about it, 5 of our fuelings a day, 1 lean and green with the healthy fat, and drink water with Propel to stabilize those electrolytes, and you'll be smooth sailing. And then the last thing I have people ask me is, when would I start my Living a Longer, Healthier Life workbook and reading Dr. A's Habits of Health? In week 1, my personal opinion for my clients is dial into this book. Get this solidified. This with your condiments and your healthy fats, and you do get 1 optional snack a day. They're listed in this book. They basically can have up to 5 grams of carbs. Talk to your coach about what that looks like. And also it says that on that condiment list. So week 1, this is your book you're reading. After week 1, I just tell my clients to just start hacking away at the workbooks, because now that you have the nutrition part down, now comes the work of the mental part to not only be shifting what's going on your body, but shifting on what's going on in here, because we want you to have long-term results. And if all you do is eat our food, you're going to lose weight. And you may even keep it off for a while, but eventually those bad habits will creep back in, and you will end up gaining your weight back if you don't focus on those workbooks and fixing the healthy mind part while we're working on healthy body. So I hope you liked this video, gave you little tips that you didn't know. And for those of you watching the first time, just know this may seem a little overwhelming, but that's what I'm here for. The more questions you ask in week 1, the less errors you make in the future. So I tell my clients week 1, fire off the questions. The more questions, the better, because then I can make sure you're dialed in and we get you to have a good weight loss journey. Thanks. Have a great day.